scrapbooking video. This one it's actually quite simple, but it's a double page spread, and as you can see, I'm putting 12 photos on the double page. What I'm scrapbooking is actually a spring carnival that I was quite privileged to be able to orchestrate at my children's school. This is back in 2014, and I was the president of the PNC at that point, and the principal, we had at that point, there had not been a fete or a carnival or anything like that at the school for, it was over 20 years. So it was quite some time. And yeah, I was in the right position at the right time, and I had a good team around me, and we created, you've got to look at this. Sorry, I'll come back to that. This particular gel, I bought the pots of rain. So this one is, and I haven't written it down. How did I not write that down? Okay. Oh. Okay, so it's the Ranger Stickles glitter gel, and it's in a pot. And this one is called Asteroid. Now, normally they're not chunky and gluggy like this one, but for some reason this one's all gluggy. I don't know why. But I managed to sort of squish it with some water and just worked it a little bit, and it still works fine. So it's not really a problem, but I will definitely be using this one up pretty quick because I've only just bought it. And it was sealed, it was all that, but just for some reason this one's quite gluggy. I don't know why. Anyway, so I wanted to use, so I'm using Craft Consortium watercolor paper. So basically the messy bit was done for me, but I needed some glitter. I wanted some shimmer because I'm scrapbooking about a spring carnival. So I needed to have some bright colors. Can you see what I just did then? I always use, and you guys see this, if you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Crazy, and I'm Karen, and I'm an Aussie mum that loves to scrapbook. I come up with all different ideas, and I do at least 6 videos a week. Sometimes I put one up on a Sunday, sometimes I don't. Depends if I apologize. My dog's in here with me. It's not my daughter's dog today, it's mine. Lexi, lay down. Lay down. It's just started raining, and it's been raining on and off all day, but it started to rain, and for some reason we're locked in the room, and she must have thought there was someone trying to get in or something, but it's just the rain. It's fine. So, okay, so I cut my title out because I wanted this to be about the story and the photos more than the decoration side of things. I did consider doing, some fairy floss or some ice creams in a tub or something along those lines. But then I realized, you know what? There's enough going on in the photos that if I use all the photos, then that would be perfect. So here's my new heat gun. So those following along with my heat gun journey, the heat gun that I purchased was honestly just a cheap one. And okay, I'm just going to explain this bit here. So what I'm doing, if you have never seen one of these before, this is called a Xyron machine, and it creates, whatever you put through it and you pull the tape at the bottom, it creates a sticker. So, and of course, I pick it up for the first time in forever, and I needed to replace the cartridge, but that's okay. So you just pop the stickers, the words or die cuts or whatever you want, and you pop it down the top, and you just pull the tape, and it just feeds through basically, and you just give it a good old rub. And there's a little bit of a break here, just there because I had to go to work. But I'm back. Now, basically just by doing that, it creates a sticker. And the one that I'm using is actually a permanent adhesive. You can get repositionable as well, But this refill, I actually scored a bargain ages ago, like forever ago. There was a lady on Marketplace and she was selling something like 10 or 12 refill cartridges, the purple Xyron, and like there was literally slightly bigger than a shoebox full of brand new, never been opened Xyron bits and pieces. And I snapped it up because it was $30 including postage. So I'm like, wow, because it's quite expensive to use. And to be honest, I hardly ever reach for it. I always just grab my glue because it's easier and it's right under my nose. So now you see me playing with the title and you see me having a fiddle, figuring out how am I going to do this. I wanted it to be even because I do have OCD. And as you can see, with it sitting in the middle like that, I like it like that, so it's going to work with that. Now, these two extra bits that I cut off the edges, I wanted to create, I cut them off specifically because I wanted them to be an edge. Now see how I've literally made it, I haven't trimmed it shorter, so it's literally the edge of the paper. So what I did was I just pulled out my Kmart stencil. You can get these from Kmart. They come in a pack of 2 or 3 different stencils. Now I've used spray adhesive on the back of it. That's why I'm rubbing it like that. That way it will hold for me and I don't have to worry about the stencil moving. Quite often, I never used to use spray adhesive on my stencils, but I tell you what, the difference between using it and not using it, light years apart. Honestly, it is so much better if you spray it on the back and you get a beautiful crisp result almost every time. If you're not like me and overloading your sponge. The sponge I'm using is just a makeup sponge from Kmart. I buy the little triangle type ones, and after I use it, I just cut the end off and use it again. That's honestly all I do. So this particular pattern, I thought, paid homage to the monster truck. This is how amazing, like, we worked so hard. Linda, my friend, she worked with me and her kids and my kids and the family, and we worked so hard. 12 months it took us to plan this day, and I'm proud to say that we ended up making a decent enough profit that we were able to fully air condition, I think it was 4 blocks, 3 or 4 blocks. Some of the blocks already had a couple of air conditioners in it, but here in Queensland, for those that may not either, they're not in Australia or Queensland. Queensland summers, to put it quite bluntly, they're brutal. I could call them something else, but I won't. They're brutal. I absolutely detest the heat. My rheumatoid arthritis plays up something chronic. The second it gets a little bit warmer, it just dead set. It's horrible. It really is. This particular year, I remember getting pretty sunburnt on this particular day, but given the fact that I was sort of coordinating the whole thing, it turned out amazing. It really did. It was a stack of work, and the teachers were there, the principal, Julianne at the time, was such a trooper. She even got above the dunk tank. She sat on the dunk tank and you could pay, I can't even remember the exact amount, but it was double the amount or triple the amount to dunk the principal. And she's such a good sport. She got in there and she did it. Now, I do have to preface this with the fact that she's not a 21-year-old principal. She was nearly at retirement age when she did this. But if that was going to bring in more money, for her school to get air conditioned, that's what she was going to do. It was amazing. It was the best day. And that's why I felt this one needed a double page, because I had so many photos. Now, I did print these photos slightly smaller. I think they're 2x2. And yeah, I just wanted to grab snippets. The good thing about the day was my husband, so my darling husband, he was amazing on the day. We do remember the day for another reason. And I did put this in my journaling. This particular day, we had worked so darn hard on this. And my husband came up to me. He was watching the two girls while I organised the whole thing. Everything from ice creams to rides, sideshows, plot lotto, all of that sort of stuff. And he came up to me at one point and he had this really somber, almost like he was going to cry sort of look on his face. And I thought, oh, what's wrong? Like, what's happened? The kids were there. They were fine. There was no blood. Like, what's going on? And you wouldn't believe it, but he was mucking around with the girls and his wedding ring came off. And sadly, we never got it back. So it was gone. So it was one heck of a day. It was an amazing day on one hand, and it was very sad and frustrating on another, but it was a wonderful day. And that's why I decided that it needed to be scrapbooked. So I made these words into stickers. I put them through the Xyron as well. And see, they just go down. All you see me doing there is sometimes when you put it through, if you don't rub it quite enough, you get sort of like a spider web on the edge of it. But that doesn't bother me one little bit. It doesn't stop me using it. And because you just got to rub it with your finger and it comes off. So the two black arrow looking things down each side, one, I felt that grounded the two pages and made them come together. And it's kind of simulating the monster truck tire tread, because that's exactly the same shape that the tires were on there. So I thought that kind of worked in well. I was at this point stressing that I didn't really like them just being black, because the Joe's I can't even pronounce it. Joe Sonia's carbon black paint that I've got, it dries really matte, which is what I wanted. But it was after I put the title on there and I thought, really needs a bit of black to go around it to tie in the black all the way around from the sides to matting the photos. Without it, it just didn't pop. So this is where I decided I'm going to cut the word carnival in half, and that way I'll have spring carnival. And that's when I realized I probably should have done that to start with so that I could do the black in between. So I just glued a little bit extra on there and it looks fine. So what else can I tell you? So Craft Consortium paper pad, and it's called WATERCOLOURS. That's what I used. And the colours, now I do come back because I used my distress inks. I used Wilted Violet, Salty Ocean and Mustard Seed. And whilst they look okay, it wasn't quite bright enough for me. So they had time to dry. So I ended up doing I went over it again with some more ink. And I didn't mix much water with it. And it came out a little bit brighter. And I was much happier with that. Now, see those two big long white bits? That's actually my journaling about the day and some specific stuff. So I've got it turned over because I like to keep my journaling private where possible. Like if it's like all these little strips that I'm putting on there, I printed all these on my computer and from my computer, and that way I don't know, it just seemed, this layout just screamed do everything uniform and neat and tidy. That's what it sort of ended up being. And originally when I was looking at this group of photos, I was actually thinking that I was going to do sort of a fairy floss thing or something like that, and I ended up going in a completely different direction, and I'm actually really happy with the result. So I just wrote journaling on there, just so you know that. So what I end up doing afterwards is those two white strips on the other side is the journaling, and here's where I come in and make it a little bit darker. See how it just makes it pop that little bit more? I thought it needed that. And yeah, so the journaling, after I stopped videoing, I cut them, and they're just in long strips, and they're printed off the computer exactly the same as the ones below. And it's just a little bit about the day, really, and the story about my husband's wedding ring, because I'm sure in 50 years time we're not going to remember about the wedding ring. But it was an amazing day. I had an absolute blast of a day, and boy, did I sleep well that night. Whew, crazy. What else can I tell you? I created the title on my CRICUT. I just plucked. I didn't even write down the font that I used. I didn't put that down there. Sorry about that. But I can tell you I did a 1.11 offset. So that blue that you can see, that's a 1.11 offset. So here I juggled the idea whether I wanted to do white or black, but I thought, no, I'll do black Posca pen, and that will cover it and tie it all in together. So just that one black line, tied it together. I know you've got to use your imagination with those two white bits. I apologize. So here I am. I wasn't sure if I wanted to use the Jelly Roll pen to have a thinner white line. But then I remembered I opened my new pack, and that's why there's yellow tape around it. My new pack of Uniball Signo broad pens, and it just worked beautifully over this. I thought it needed a little bit of an edge. That way it'll look sort of more like tractor tires, tractor tread, rather than just arrows, I suppose you'd say. So I guess this is the point where I say to you, I would really, if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. I sincerely, 100%, absolutely am blown away by how this channel is going. I'm absolutely wrapped with it, and that's still understated. I am absolutely wrapped. So I am organizing a giveaway at this point, and I just need to go through the fine details of there's a thing you can put on your Facebook on your computer, and it draws so it's fair. So I'm working on that at the moment, and in the background, and I'm gathering some bits and pieces together for a giveaway, and I'm going to make it my 800k giveaway. I know at the moment I think I am, actually I don't know, I'll have to have a look. I haven't looked for a couple of days. That's really slack, isn't it? So if you've made a comment on something and I haven't responded, it's because I'm being super slack and I haven't checked my channel. Okay, 767 subscribers. So I'm going to continue grabbing things together. Here's the close-up for you, and I will continue grabbing things together, and below this video you will see that there is a Facebook group, and if you want to see the still photos so you can pick things apart from this layout or any other layout that I've done, all the still photos are up and in the Facebook group. And yeah, and I will keep you up to date. I think I'm going to do 800k giveaway. So if you know anybody that maybe would be interested in my channel, please feel free to share it with them. And I will continue to bring you creative and different ways to scrapbook. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will chat to you again real soon. Bye.